I'm so excited that The White Lotus is still in its relaxing, poolside vibes while Severance is diving deeper into its eerie, Lynchian mysteries. If you're keeping up with both shows, honestly, the two best things on TV right now, I bet you had a blast watching Rick and Chelsea mess around at a snake farm after the intensity of Severance's episode 7. Now, I've already spent a lot of time analyzing that episode, about 2,800 words, to be exact, and since tonight is Oscars night, which I'm really into, despite what our movie critic might think, I'll keep this White Lotus recap short. There's not much to dive into with episode 3, titled The Meaning of Dreams. It feels more like a setup before the murder mystery kicks into high gear. But one key thing this episode does show us is that we should be suspicious of nearly everyone except Sweet Chelsea, Amy Lou Wood, and Gatok, Tame Thaptimthong. We need to keep them safe at all costs. This episode kicks off with exactly what I was hoping for, a dive into the trippy mind of Victoria Ratliff, Parker Posey. We're thrown right into one of her dreams. She's on the beach, holding a bottle of pills, staring at an incoming tsunami. Her youngest son is sitting nearby, cryptically telling her, this is what it looks like before a tsunami. Behind her is the Ratliff family home, and as the tsunami crashes over her, she wakes up to find her husband, Tim, Jason Isaacs, on the phone, clearly stressed. Later, at breakfast, Victoria shares her dream with the family. Piper, Sarah Catherine Hook, chimes in, it could be some kind of warning. Dreams might not predict the future, but they show us something. Every symbol means something. It's the collective unconscious. Well, this one's pretty easy to crack. With the FBI busting into Tim's office, it's clear the Ratliffs are heading toward total chaos. That lovely house from Victoria's dream? The government might seize it before they can even return to North Carolina. Tim tries to safeguard the family's electronics by handing them over to White Lotus, but it's clear everyone knows Papa Ratliff is in deep trouble. At least Piper has an escape plan. She visits a Buddhist temple and expresses interest in their year program. The episode wraps up with a tense moment between Victoria and Tim in bed. She offers him pills, but he refuses, even though he already took one earlier. Tim, is something going on? She asks, but he stays silent. She turns over, puzzled. Maybe another tsunami dream will help her make sense of it all. Aha! After I spent last week's recap guessing where the plot involving Jacqueline, Michelle Monaghan, Kate, Leslie Bibb, and Laurie, Carrie Coon, was headed, Mike White threw a curveball by introducing the Trump voter twist. One thing worth mentioning before diving in, the White Lotus still seems unsure how to handle this trio. While other vacationers like Belinda, Natasha Rothwell, are starting to cross paths in interesting ways, like noticing Greg, John Grise, or Saxon Ratliff, Patrick Schwarzenegger, mixing it up with Chloe, Charlotte Le Bon, this group is still simmering toward their inevitable blow-up. Most of their scenes in episode 3 show Jacqueline pushing Laurie to get weird with the energy healer guy. Honestly, I'm starting to think he's a suspect. He's a Russian who worked in shipping, moved to Thailand alone, with no friends or family. Major red flag. Anyway, after exploring Jacqueline and Laurie's issues, episode 3 reveals that Kate isn't exactly the peacekeeper of the group. At dinner near the end of the episode, Jacqueline and Laurie, who are from Los Angeles and New York, start discussing politics with their Texas friend. Is she a Republican? No, but she's independent. Did she vote for Trump? Are we really gonna talk about Trump tonight? Kate snaps. The next time we see the group, Jacqueline and Kate are loudly arguing about Kate's politics, while Kate watches from a distance. This is a fascinating direction for Mike White to take this group. Even though The White Lotus has spent plenty of time criticizing the 1%, it rarely delves into the political views of its characters. I'm excited to see where he goes with this. Surprise! In this episode, Rick, Walton Goggins, actually goes back to another wellness session. Shout out to the Severance fans. We get a glimpse into his past and maybe even figure out why he's so determined to track Sritala, Lek Patravadi, down in Bangkok. I've done a lot of bad things, trust me, Rick admits. I've made a lot of mistakes. After revealing in episode 2 that he never knew his father, he opens up more. His father was murdered. And I can't get my life back, he says, but maybe I can still get some satisfaction. Could the person who killed Rick's father be in Bangkok? Later in the episode, Rick smokes some bad weed and takes Chelsea to a snake farm, where he tries to free all the snakes. Naturally, one of them bites Chelsea. Luckily, she's okay, but I can't ignore the ominous line she tells Rick at the end: "If you kill me, I'll follow you into the next life and then the next. You'll never get rid of me." Just putting that out there for now. And for my random thought of the week, everyone, leave Gatok alone. One of Shritala's bodyguards straight up calls him a pussy in this episode. Gatok is either going to die in the finale or be the one to save everyone from the killer. There's no middle ground. It looks like Greg Gary might not get away with ordering Tanya's murder after all. First off, the guy is a terrible liar. Here's what Chloe says he told her about his past with Tanya. He has an ex-wife, but he never talks about her. All I know is she was really unstable. One day, she just walked into the ocean and kept going. They only found part of her leg. Sounds pretty close to Victoria's dream, right? Anyway, Belinda takes a break from her potential fling with Pawnchai, Dom Hetrical, to tell Greg that she recognizes him. He's sitting at dinner with Chloe, Rick, and Chelsea when Belinda approaches him. Of course, Greg denies ever being at the White Lotus Maui. Now he's just Gary, and Belinda walks off. But someone sneaks around outside her room later that night, which definitely makes it look like Greg's got some dirty deeds in his future. But, hey, this is the White Lotus, we're not even halfway through the season, so I'm leaning toward the whole Greg storyline being a red herring. Meanwhile, Tim Ratliff is spiraling into madness, Rick is starting to look shady, the burglars from episode 2 are still out there, and Saxon Ratliff seems destined to kill someone. Whoever's firing that gun at the end of the season, I just hope Gatok is there to take them down.